What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing today? All right, so I'm gonna apologize now. That video ended up backwards. That was annoying, but we got some special guests today. We're gonna be chatting about Comic Cons, all sorts of stuff, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. So give me 1 second. We're just gonna pop in, make sure we're ready to rock and roll. Hold on. May need to. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I did not give my co-host the link for tonight, so sorry. Hold on 1 second. Whoops. All right. So, anyways, all right. So tonight we got Chaos Within Studios joining us today. Our usual co-host will be joining us as well. So without further ado, we're gonna ask Brandon, aka Chaos Within, to come on in. What's up, Brandon? What's up, dude?
Yo, what up?
Welcome to the stage,
Brandon Mcginley.
Nice.
How's it going, boss?
It's going. This is my new work from home office that I built
Neat.
in my side off my other office that I do all my printing in. So
Here, let me see. Let's blow you up here. Let's take a look.
yeah, I got some
Neat.
Titan sized transformers in here.
Cool.
My drawing tables here. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, rock on. Thank you for coming on to the show tonight, hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're gonna have a good time. Like I said, we're gonna have some good chats. And we got our co-host Brian. Ready?
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stage,
Brian. Boom. What's up, man?
How you doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, good.
Man, fantastic, man. Thank you for popping in, bro. Sorry about the link mix up.
All right.
It is a learning experience. We're growing and we're learning and we're evolving hopefully every show.
I found out that the links are not the same. I went to the old link and I sat in an empty room.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I don't know why. I thought I put it up there, but sorry about that.
No problem.
But anyways, so yeah, so tonight we got our good friend Brandon here, and we're gonna be talking about Comic Cons and things you could be doing to set yourself apart differently, and we'll get everyone's thoughts and we'll chitty chat and maybe do some doodles here. Brandon, you planning on doodling tonight, or just kind of gonna chat?
Well, we can chat and whatever comes, I guess.
All right, rock on.
Yeah.
So I was gonna start adding a segment for future shows. It looks like, because nobody actually got back to me fast enough. Where we're gonna actually start highlighting people's Kickstarters for like a quick 5, 10, 15 minute little segment later on in the middle of the show. So hopefully, I think that'd be kind of neat to have some other people on, and maybe we'll do like a pre-recorded session for those or something. But we're, like I said, trying to evolve the show and have a good time, and hopefully, we get some people popping in here, people who want to hang out and chitty chat and goof off and all that other stuff. So, Brandon, since you are our guest, my friend, why don't you lead in and tell us all about yourself and where you're from, what you do, yada yada yada, you name it. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm Brandon, and my artist thing, if you want to call it that, the Chaos Within Studio, is actually came from a nickname from my guitar player that he sadly passed away a few years ago, but he used to call me the Chaos Ninja, because every time I found myself in a situation of chaos, I can always get out of it. So that kind of stuck with me. And basically, like, it's like, I don't know if it's everybody's goal, but my goal is I like to draw a lot, but I also want to do my own book. I also want to be on covers like everybody else has got, a further development of pretty much everything I could try to do, I guess, you know. But
Rock on.
I'm from Vestal, New York, so I'm quite the bit south from where James lives, but not too bad. Other than that, though, you know, just living. I don't want to say living the dream. I'm living it. We'll say,
Hell yeah, bro.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about like your con experience. How long have you been doing shows and stuff like that?
This will be well, let's see, was it when we went to Syracuse Collectors Con this year? This is the start of my 5th year of doing cons, which
Awesome.
to me it is fun.
Yeah.
We'll get into it probably later, but there are pros and cons to cons. So, but
That
yeah,
there is.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
that's right.
Definitely. Well, so what do you guys got? What do you guys got going on today? Let's while we're waiting for people to chat, pop in and hang out. Tell us about your guys' day. How you guys been doing?
Well, I just got done working right around 4:30. I work from home, so
Yeah.
know, but literally just nothing from the time I got out of work until now. I try to draw during work and everything, but that's going to
Yeah.
change. I'm going to start drawing a lot more after.
Cool.
So,
Brian, what you been up to, man?
I worked most of the day doing the graphic design shtick, and then I did a little exercising just to keep the heart healthy. And I have.
What do you got? What are you drinking?
It's Nixie.
Nixie. Hey,
Yeah, it's flavored
Hey.
water.
you'd almost think that we were like Canada Dry. We were sponsored by, but we're not.
I wish so.
Yeah. Hey,
sponsored by
Canada
ginger
Dry.
ale. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of which, mine is a ginger flavored water. So
Oh, is it? Okay, so
we got a whole ginger.
we're all hanging out with the ginger today. Everybody
Right.
wants
Right.
And I started my day working on the colors for that cover. I just could not get it out of my mind, and I wanted to take another shot at it before I just threw up my hands and said, "Forget it, give it to somebody who knows what they're doing."
Yeah.
But I felt inspired when I woke up that I at least wanted to experiment with some things that I thought I could that might help it out.
Yeah, dude. No, it's coming along great, man. Let's see if I can figure out how to pop this up here. You mind if we
Yeah.
share?
I'd like
No.
to see it for
No.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, here it is. Let's take a look here. Where?
At this stage that I've been staring at it so much that I can't tell if I like it anymore, if I just want to delete the whole thing, but I still got a little bit of time before
Sure.
it goes to them. I'm kind of losing that perspective of if it's any good. When I first did it, I was like, yeah, I like it. And now it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, sometimes you gotta like walk away for a second, it's or like a
Yeah.
day or two and just kind of let's see if it'll let me share. It might not let me share it. I don't know. Is it gonna show up? It is not gonna show up. No, weird. Hold on one second. That's really weird.
This is for your book, right?
it is
no,
not.
No.
It is it's a cover contest for some guys that I saw on Instagram. I think they're also like a little indie developer publisher kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, it looks like they're kind of doing that thing where they're kind of trying to create like their own little universe of heroes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
saw that, and then when I saw these characters, especially the one character that I wanted to draw, that one really spoke to me, and I thought I'm going to definitely do that guy. He's like those big. He almost looks like a jellyfish. He's like a
There it
big
is.
jellyfish guy with electricity.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Heck
But
yeah.
apparently he hangs out with the girl, which I think her name is Meteora, and she has like geomancing kind of power. She controls Earth like Terra.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
And they hang out together, so I figured, well, another chance for me to try and exercise my attempts at drawing women.
Yeah, no, I mean it's coming along. It's coming along great, man.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's very clean. It's very clean. Yeah, I mean there's some notes, but I mean overall you're doing a good job. I think the direction you're going is exactly where you should be, and it's like the colors are great, man. Like you have a very like stylized type of way you're doing your colors, and Like that
Yeah.
sticks out to people, so that's great.
And
You're
not
doing
only
great.
that, but you can draw that foot really good at the perspective that it's at. No
Oh,
LaFeld stuff.
thank you.
Yeah.
I feel if you're watching, that wasn't me. That was me.
That was
Um,
Brandon.
but yeah. So today I got the garage cleaned out a little bit. Nothing super exciting, unfortunately, but I made our intro clip,
Yeah.
which some of you, hopefully you guys saw it. Jerry, what's up, man? Thank you for popping in, bro. How you doing tonight?
Oh,
And Michael,
thank you,
also,
Barry.
how are you doing as well, my friend? Um, Jerry's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. We're coming out with a comic today. That's one of the things that I was working on today. Is kind of promoting that a little bit today, and setting up some things on the site to get people interested in potentially doing like pre-sales, so that people can like know when it drops and stuff. So I'm kind of getting some things technical wise on the back end together. And then my son had his first official baseball game today.
Oh,
It was
cool.
awesome. Yeah. It's like, obviously little league baseball, but
Yeah.
he he had fun. It looked like he was a little bit more interested in it than he has been, which
Mhm.
is good. Usually he just sits in the outfield and he picks at the sand. So today he seemed a little bit
Yeah.
more like invested. The team was like, "Woo, we're gonna go!" People were clapping and
Yeah.
people were hitting balls and things. So
How
it
old
was
is
a good
he?
it was a good time. Was it? He is 7. 7.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
okay.
7 now.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's a little guy. Admittedly, he is the shortest kid on the team.
Yeah.
But probably
But
the
no, he's
No?
not the fastest either.
He'll get there.
The,
He'll
the
get
kid who's obsessed with Sonic. I keep telling him like you gotta like I don't know you need some Sonic juice or something, man. I don't know what's going on. So but we're having fun. He seems like he's having a good time. We were in a little bit of a rush to get home tonight because we got there at 5:30. We're like, oh, 5:30, it shouldn't be more than an hour, right? An hour and a half at the most, thinking it would end at like 7:30. No, sure enough, man. I mean, I guess it did end at 7:30, but the game started at 6, went to 7:30. It was freezing cold out, so we sat outside in the cold. Yeah, it was only like 57 degrees when we got there. I mean, it was a beautiful day here where I live. It was beautiful all day. So about 57 degrees. It's cloudy. Sun wasn't even out, so there was no sun to keep us warm. So yeah, and then of course the Sabres game starts at 7. So go Sabres. We're in the playoffs. We're doing the finals. So yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see. We're cutting it close. But yeah, so the wifey's like, we gotta get home so we can watch the game. So we were in a rush, and like I'm like, I gotta set up the stream and everything. So that was my day. It was very eventful. Yeah, so I think we finally got some people hanging out with us, and I guess we can kind of start talking about our subject matter for this week. Yeah. So so for those of you who aren't familiar with us, I'll give you a quick little background on me and how many shows I do per year and yada yada. So I do on average 15 to 25 shows a year for the last, I think I'm going on a sixth year now, maybe 6th or 7th year now, and it's a lot of work. It's a big dedication, and I'll admittedly say that I haven't gone super far for shows. I think like I haven't done any of the big ones like MegaCon or I think the biggest show I've done so far has been Baltimore. But looking to expand that potentially within the next couple of years. This year I was gonna go full on in, and then I kind of decided to just kind of stick with what I know, and then I ended up getting a couple shows fall on my lap. So that never goes how you want it to. So now I have more shows than I had last year, which not a big deal, but more work, which not a bad thing. Brandon, what about you, man?
So I'm trying to do as many shows as I can. So far I've done Syracuse Collectors Con at the beginning of the year. I've got a local show that I'm going to be doing here at the end of this month. It's called the Bing Bang Fat Cat Comics Con. It's in Johnson City, New York.
Okay.
And then I've got just like one of those street festivals that I'm going to do in June. Just like a 1 day thing that, have the local people know that I'm actually around here, whatever, and, have some little prints for the kids, stuff like that. That's going to be fun. But then I want to try to do like the Wellsboro for the first time just to try it. I'm missing out on NoCoCon this year.
Yeah.
And I don't have any Transformers ones I'm actually doing, but I am going to go to TFCon Orlando, and I'm helping my buddy Chris sell some Transformers. But he's like, if you don't bring artwork, don't come. So,
All right.
so I'll be doing that. And then the one I always wait for is Twin Tiers Comic Con. I love doing that. But, I also, that's why I'm friends with a bunch of you guys anyway, so I can know which ones I should go for, So maybe next year I'll be doing a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I mean, that's the benefit, right, of it, is making new friends at these shows. Is you kind of you get into this group of like, yeah, you definitely do this show or don't do this show. This show sucks. And admittedly, that information goes pretty far, but it also only goes so far because different things will work for different people, right? Like
Yeah.
TF Con might work better for you because you do that kind of stuff versus like me, where I'm not really like I don't do Transformer stuff, but like Brian might do better at like a classic horror type of show versus a more pop culture current show. I'm not saying you wouldn't do well at a current. I'm just saying like because that's your genre, right? That's your niche. So we all have our own niches, and I think it helps too.
Right.
Right.
Well, I've always been a fan of going outside of what you do, because like I do that with anime characters. I'll draw them comic book style, and people love it.
Yeah.
And I think with your drawing style, you could definitely whack out a good Optimus Prime or a Soundwave. Or they just released, not just released, probably last year or the year before, they did a Dracula Transformer. So I think you would be able to nail something like that, Brian. And that was another thing too. Retro Game Con. I got into that as a surprise. I didn't think I was going to do it, but we can talk further into when you make things for cons. So when we get to there, I'll explain that too.
Yeah. Yep. Brian, what about you, boss?
Next topic. Well, I'm still thinking about Baltimore if I want to do it. I don't know how I would do it, but I haven't given up on the idea. And I looked at, I gotta say, like, I looked at one that I think you're doing, like, it's got a weird name, like Big Lick or something.
Oh yeah, Big Lick Comic Con. Yeah, it's in Virginia.
Yeah. That one is very tempting because of the vendor price to get in is quite accessible for me. The only thing that would be a hurdle is that it's so far to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would just be a major investment of time more than, I mean, the money would still be a factor because unlike Baltimore, I would have to do like the hotel room and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. It's a whole other thing. Now you were doing like smaller shows like craft shows and art shows, right?
Yeah, I'm doing I do like local like First Friday kind of thing that's local that is catered for artists. So it's just a bunch of artists that kind of hang out in this I don't know what you call it. Like it's not they call it an alley, but it's not an alley. It's like this open kind of grassy area.
It's
And
an artist knoll.
yeah. And so like people can come and it's right off the main street of like the shopping area. So the people like come by for the First Friday event that has music and all that stuff. And then they see all these artists down there and they really like to have the idea of like, we're in the process of making stuff. So they like it when we're creating, not just selling stuff.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that works out well. And so I do those, and there's one in the fall that's also local that is more of an art fair, but it's a lot more like I'm the oddball when I just sit around with my illustrations. I don't think there's there's like last time I did it, it was just me as an illustrator. Nobody else was doing illustrations. It
Oh
was
wow.
all like craft stuff. It was like ceramics and people that make, I don't know, things out of trash and just all kind of like weird stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like that kind of thing. It's like people that have like wind chimes that they've made and things like that. And then there was me selling illustration, which was good because then people would come by and they'd be like, "Hey, you're an illustrator. That's cool." And then it was like I was like the oddity in that place, and it really kind of helped me out.
Yeah. There was
So there's that one.
no competition.
Yeah. Um, so there's those, and then this Friday I'm doing like this really small um event. I guess it's an event. It's more of a mental health thing. It's a mental health show, but it's has an art element to it. So it's like music and art, and they
Okay.
also like they went to. So there's a part of me that we're gonna do like an interview. So I'll be up on stage and talking about like how making art, how mental health kind of factors into like making the art images, and then like what it means for like what does it do for me to make art, and what do I hope other people get from the stuff that I make. And then they also offered like a table outside of where like the auditorium area where I can sell like the Puppy Brian books and some of my art pieces and stuff like that. And they said I could bring my comic, but my comic isn't done.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. How far along are you on that?
Well, I mean, I need to get it printed.
Oh, but you're like
Yeah.
inks and colors. You're done with that. You're waiting for the book.
Mostly, yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I mean that's an accomplishment in itself, right? Like getting it done, seeing it in paper. Now send me a copy, please.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's awesome, dude. I mean, that's really cool. It sounds like you've got like a neat little setup of different types of shows you do, which is completely different than just like the whole Comic-Con world. So, again, right? You can, feel free to chime in and point out some differences from the shows because, admittedly, I have been hesitant to do like art markets and stuff like that because of the fact like it's so different. It's such a different world. Like in
Mhm.
my opinion, right? Like up till now, what I've been doing, I should say up till recently, what I've been doing has all been fan art. Now I'm finally doing original stuff and original things for people and for other people, where I feel like I have kind of a little bit something that's not, Spider-Man, Batman, the typical things you would usually see where it might be a little bit more interesting to people. But a lot of the markets around here, at least from what I've seen, and there might be markets that I'm not aware of. It seems like they're all like really artsy fartsy, like, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way because art is beautiful, and everybody has a different way of doing art, but it's usually like these like super crazy fanatical, like amazingly done out paintings and stuff like that is usually what fills those markets. So
Hmm.
I've been pretty hesitant to do that, to get into that. But I don't know. I actually have a friend of mine who is doing it later this year. He's got a bigger show that he's doing that's local here that I'm actually looking forward to seeing how he does because then I can kind of be like, oh, maybe it might be worth trying it out, trying out the art, the art thing. So I don't know, man, but that's awesome.
Mhm.
um, so Brandon, you got what you have any like favorite? Not to show favoritism to shows, but do you have like a favorite show you like to do?
Well, because I haven't done them all yet, my favorite one to do is Twin Tiers Comic Con. The people are always good to me. I've met a lot of you guys there. Um, and every year that I go there, more and more people are flocking over to my booth and looking through all my artwork. Whereas my first year, they're like, "Oh, you do Batman? Oh, you do that?" And then they just walk on by. Now I
Yeah.
have like the gist of how to display it or a
Yeah.
gimmick to draw people in. This is the stuff you learn, is the stuff you push.
Yeah. that's awesome. And right, and that's kind of the experience of starting shows, all the way to like from where you started to where you are now. Right?
Yeah.
There's hopefully an evolution there. Hopefully, you're not doing the same cube setup over 5 years, unless it worked for you.
Yeah, I mean,
If
I,
it worked for you
well,
when you started, then you know what I
my
mean. You'd be
first
like,
year,
oh
yeah, my first year, I was one of those guys that went to Amazon and bought those cage cube things and stacked them
yeah,
all over and
yeah,
over the top. It would collapse on me. The one day that we were there, it fell down overnight.
oh
But
Oh,
now, like I could print my own banners and stuff, so I can lay out all my artwork on a banner on the table now, and one other cool thing too, and this is just to attest to different cons or like tiny little mini cons. Is I was up in Elmira last weekend, and the guy that was the promoter for there, he goes, "Hey, do you need a backdrop?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really have a backdrop. I have those vertical banners that I have my own artwork on." So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he sets me up with it's got two stands and a crossbar on it, and
mhm.
I had these two canvas prints that I always have trouble hanging because they'd fall or whatever. Well, this worked out this time, and then right at the end of the show, he goes, "Hey, do you need that backdrop?" I was like, "Well, I can always use something." And he goes, $10 and it's yours. So, $10 for $150 backdrop thing and that's what's cool about promoters that are like that and not greedy.
yeah,
So, yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's very awesome. So yeah,
Mm.
why don't since you kind of were mentioning it, why don't you dive in a little bit and talk about, and we can kind of talk as well. Um, like, what are some of the things that you've learned along the way from when you started doing shows to where you're at now, right? Like, um, what are some of the things that you've accumulated? What are some of the things you've learned? What are some things you still feel like you need to do better at?
One thing that I have learned is talk to people. Because if you don't talk to anybody as they're walking by, they don't stop. You can have the most amazing artwork ever sitting out on your table, in your
Hmm.
own opinion, rather.
Yeah,
But if you don't draw somebody to your table in a nice verbal way, then chances are they're going to just walk by anyway. They
yeah,
might not have any money, they might not want any artwork or anything, but if you don't say something to somebody, then they don't turn and look at you, and then that's one big thing. And from the music world, I do the same thing that way too, because playing in a band and everything. If you don't sing to the people, they're not going to listen to you. So,
yeah.
and
There's no music happening. I
yeah,
can't hear
and
you.
you've heard me reference music stuff all the time about
Yeah,
like, because I draw Spider-Man my way. It's my cover song, that interests people too. Is like if you can use your relatable things in your artwork out to people,
yeah.
then it's cool. But uh, I am eternally grateful to at least a few of my art buddies, you're included, because without you guys, I wouldn't have learned certain things and certain ways to present my work either.
Yeah.
So going to cons is for some people it's all about the money. For me, it's not really about the money. It's to put my artwork into somebody's hands that eventually will come back and be like, "Hey, we're looking for this."
Yeah.
And without talking to you, I just made an order for metal prints today.
Nice.
So,
Mhm.
Awesome.
and I talked to her on the phone, and she was like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "Yeah, James sent me." "Oh, we love James." So,
Oh, that's good to
yeah,
hear.
yep,
I send them orders so often. It's like, hey, I need this in like 2 weeks. Can you guys make this happen?
he
And I'm
was
like,
right
they
on
must
it.
they
I
must
mean,
hate me.
oh no, no, there's no way. This guy enjoys doing it so much that
That's
he was
awesome.
right on. Like as soon as I sent the email this morning, within 5 minutes, he was already at the computer.
Nice.
So,
That's
which
awesome.
was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
those guys rock. For those of you who are interested, it's Fairy Metal Photography. Fantastic work, fantastic metal prints,
Yeah.
and great prices too. So
Yep. And I think I'm gonna give the trading card thing a go, but we've also that's another thing too that I've learned about talking with each other is that if you don't, then you're never gonna get the good ideas for like doing collaborations or anything at cons, which I'm hoping that me and you at least can work some things out for this trading card idea. which we could
Yeah.
always get into later if we want.
Yeah.
But and that's, you know, some of my favorite artwork isn't even mine. It's all your guys' artwork. So, you know, I own more Art Buddies artwork than I've ever produced artwork. So,
That's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
that's great, man. It's you're a proponent of art yourself, which is good.
Hmm. Cool.
It's funny you talk about the people that talking to people at your booth, and you know, if you don't talk to them, they're not going to come over and they're not going to talk to you. They're not going to look at your stuff. And it's so funny to me to see people walk by your booth and you're like, what are these people? Well, like half the time, like you're thinking, what are these people here for? It's so weird. It's I
Yeah.
just like, you know, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are, if I'm on a mission, I know where I'm going. I'm like, you know, that's where I'm going. But usually, if I'm gonna go to a show, I'm at some point gonna try to enjoy everything that the show has to offer because I
Right.
paid to walk in that door. Um, so it's very funny to see that. Admittedly, though, have you ever felt like you've scared people away from your booth by saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, and they're like, "Oh,
Just based on, like, I just recently started cutting my hair. I had hair all the way down to the middle of my back. I look like a biker. I got tattoos everywhere, and sometimes I guess to other people I'm scary, but
yeah,
I also love a lot of comedy, and I like to make people laugh and stuff too. And that's one big thing other than trying to draw people to your table is
yeah,
some of the people that are going there are braving it enough to go. Then they just want to see stuff that they like from home normally, and they're taking a venture out for either the first time or you know, some people don't ever talk. They'll just like, you know, nod and walk by, but they will remember that moment that you talk to them enough to draw their attention to something that they might like farther on down the road too, and mentally it helps them out. You know, it's breaking them of not being social, you know,
yeah,
it's, I see it time and time again at almost every single con I've been to, where you know that they don't talk to anybody outside of their own home or their room, and now you just broke them of it, and now they're talking to other people, and that's what I like too.
yeah, yeah." I've found sometimes it's so it is funny the different type of people you're gonna get at a show. You'll get the people that'll walk up and that are very interested in what you're working on. There's also gonna be the people that'll walk up and be like, "Hey, look at me! I'm so cool. I'm dressed up as so and so."
Hmm.
You know, you talk to them and you're like, "Hey, I love your cosplay and whatever." And then you'll get the people that are looking to promote themselves in some way or show you their art or like your interest, get your interest in what they're working on. There's so many different types of people that will approach you at a show. It's kind of funny. But it's very interesting. It's like people watching at its finest.
Yeah.
You get to see it all, you know.
And
But
you
yeah,
do see it all.
yeah, but if you don't engage most of those people in some way, you're not gonna end up talking to them, right?
Right.
Um, so
Yeah.
what are some things that you like to talk about, and what are some things that you use to get people to come to your booth? Wanna talk about that?
Me personally, I like talking about, like, when the cosplayers go by. I am a huge Spider Gwen fan.
Oh yeah,
And almost every single con, no matter what the con has been about, there's always been one that comes. But as soon as they come over to the table and they see that I do Transformer artwork, now all of a sudden it's gone from they are dressed as Spider Gwen to how come you don't have a Soundwave yet? You know, and they inspire me more, but it just like drums up this conversation about what that community even likes, you know, and
yeah,
if I,
Yeah.
that's one big thing. If you don't know what that community likes, you're not gonna, one, you're not gonna sell your artwork. You're not
yeah,
gonna put your artwork in anybody's hands. And trust me, I have given away artwork just because I wanted somebody to take it home. And and sometimes it's, you know, to a kid walking by, but their dad is a huge like Megatron fan or something, or like I did a Mega Man and Zero, and this guy comes walking by, he glances down, and his little kid, probably 5 or 6 years old, and he goes, "Did you draw that Mega Man?" In my mind, it explodes going, "These kids know who Mega Man is." And then their dad's like, "You know what? My kid could talk to him. Now I'm going to talk to him." And that's the whole thing is about not just visual art, but like the verbal art to everything now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can drum up a conversation by a sneeze, and it's just a thing.
God bless you.
If you, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I can use just about anything, music, art, comedy, tragedy, stuff like that, because it happens. If it happens every day, you can use it to drum up any kind of conversation, and then it gets you talking about it to multiple people. I had 15 people at my booth one time, and we were all talking about it, and that made me
Impressive.
feel great for the rest of the day. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know it's nice. It's a nice feeling to have when you have people at your booth. They're like
Mhm.
chatting about things, and admittedly, it can be a little stressful sometimes. I'm
hmm
I'm one of those types of people that I'm like, oh god, I feel like if I don't talk to everybody all at once in the same like same sentence, and somehow that like they're gonna walk away or be upset with me in some way, even knowing that I'm obviously talking to somebody else. We're having a conversation.
Right.
Hopefully, you can get people to come in and have a conversation about whatever you're talking about. And I do love that. I like it. Like my biggest thing is my Scooby Scream cover. I always get people to come over and talk about that, and then I always tell them the story. And this is like one of those things that like I tell people, like, have stories to tell people when they're looking at things. Like, hey, oh, I did that piece because I met Matthew Lillard back in 2025 at Steel City Comic Con, and I'm actually meeting him again this year. In December, and that's why I did that piece, and I was so super excited. And I'm also meeting Scott Eanes or Ines. I don't know how to say his last name in Nickel City and like all that other stuff. So like, you know what I mean? It's cool to have like ways to converge with people and talk and like have a story that hopefully brings more people into your booth.
Yeah.
I see so many times the people that sit at their table twiddling their thumbs, or they're just like I I kid you not, at Saratoga Comic Con this year, the table next to my wife. So we had that table last show. We couldn't afford to renew the third table because unfortunately our market has kind of been going down at the show, which is really unfortunate. I'm not really sure what to do about it yet. But so the guy they filled the table with what I'm assuming is some sort of not for profit Christian church group that makes comics. I'm guessing. So there's this really old gentleman, and he had the table. He set up his table. He put the comics on the table, and it was suggested donation was $7. And I'm like, wow, to suggest donations at a $350, $400 table was a little insane in my opinion. Not to knock the business acumen, maybe it was like a last minute, like, hey, yeah, you're in, whatever thing. Knowing that he might have been local, but didn't talk to a single person the entire weekend except for people who asked him directly questions. He actually fell asleep at his table at one point.
That's
Fell
funny.
asleep at his table, sitting. So where there's a guy with this big wall, which he was hiding behind the whole entire weekend, basically. Like he had here's the table, here's the wall. It's hard to describe, but here's the big wall at the end cap table. He was sitting here in the middle of like behind the big wall, and his table was here. He was literally like just like leaning back. Like, I kid you not. I swear to God, he fell asleep for at least 20, 30 minutes. At least.
He's like the sheriff in the Western.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Or he just kind of get up and walk around and whatever. Yeah, it just blew my mind. How some people just have no like awareness, I guess, of how to interact with people at shows. I mean,
Yeah.
and I see it all the time. I'll see this fantastic artist. Um, there was a kid who, fantastic artist. He traveled with his parents. He was like 13, 14, and the kid was, like on my level and creating things. I'm like, holy crud, this kid is amazing. And I walk over to the table. He's drawing on his sketch pad, and not a single word comes out of him or his parents. And I'm like, wow, like, oh, okay, well, hey, great art, man. Oh, thanks. And that was as far as the conversation went.
Yep.
So it's like, it's tough because they're like, oh, should I say something like, hey, could maybe you should talk to people, but I don't know. I guess I'm being a dad. I'm like, I go into dad mode a
Right.
little bit sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it is mind blowing for sure. So I guess we're gonna get a little bit more into the nitty gritty of what tonight's show about. People are probably waiting to hear about, right? So what are your thought processes behind and we kind of touched on this a little bit last week for those of you who tuned in last week. What are your thought processes when it comes to creating a piece of work for your next show? When you're planning out shows for the year and you say, "Hey, NocoCon has," I'm just giving an example because this is on top of my head. And I know you didn't get into NocoCon, so again, sorry about that. Like the Freerin voice actor is coming,
Oh yeah.
and one of our good friends, Matt, did a bunch of pieces for it, for Freerin and stuff, and they promoted the heck out of it. What is your thought processes on when you're thinking about shows coming and what you should work on and stuff like that?
So to touch on the NocoCon one, I'm not. If I was able to go, I would have been there.
Yeah.
But the thing is like last year I did a free run and I did an Angel Dust because the voice actor for Angel Dust from Has Been Hotel for the pilot one, he was there. So and I
Okay.
like to do that. I check out the voice cast or whatever that's coming to each con, and I might even reach out to the promoter and say, hey, do you think I can do something for one of the guests that's there, or you know, or just for my own benefit too, because I'm one of the selfish people that are out there. I'll draw something for me and get a
Yeah.
voice actor to sign it. The
I do that
room
all
that's
the time.
there,
Yeah.
the whole wall of them.
Yeah.
But when I drew Free Run last year and I had no idea that they were getting the voice actors this year, I was kicking myself in the butt because I could have just done more, but that's my thing, one of the big things too, and I'll say it for Retro Game Con. I was like thinking I wasn't going to get in, I just want to try, but we all grew up playing video games, so this is a video game con.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I'm like, I'm going to draw Mega Man, draw Zero. And then I kept on tagging it over and over on my Instagram and everything. And then, that's what I think got me in. But at that point, I'm like, well, now I only got 2 video game characters for a retro game con. So now I'm drawing more for it. So I gear myself to the con, like
Yeah.
so retro game con, I'm doing video game characters, or if like Twin Tiers Comic Con, I can't mention what I do know about it, but I might do a couple art pieces for that. But because I've been doing this for 5 years, just going to cons, I can't say professionally because I haven't landed that cover yet. Wink, wink. um, I want to make sure that anything that I've done before and my skills have gotten way better since then I go back and revisit what I've done, and then uh, other cons are more cosplay based or anime based. So I mean, you really got to just make sure you know what you're walking into before you start prepping to do it. You
Yeah.
know.
So here's the follow up question to this, right?
Hmm.
When you've created a piece for a show, and I can't really gauge how often you've done this. It sounds like maybe a couple times. Where do you feel like you land with that piece after the show? Is it your best seller? Is it something that people do you get more often or not? Like, oh, I wish I had seen that before I went and visited the voice actor. Or do you or like how do you feel about your pieces afterwards once you've completed them, done the show, and like does it feel like it works for you to create a piece specifically for voice actor or a set of voice actors and then work on and then have it at the show obviously.
So just because the way my brain is for it,
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm selfish when it comes to things. If it's somebody that I really like a voice actor that I really like for that
Yeah.
show, I'm gonna do as much work into that piece as I can get it. Because not only is it going to be on my wall here, but maybe someone else will appreciate it enough to do it. But it has backfired here and there,
Yeah.
after the show's over. Like Syracuse Collectors Con, I gave away 50 of those Miles Morales Spider-Mans that I did for the voice actor who was there. But
Yeah.
I got to meet the guy. I talked to him. He's a really cool dude. He signed one for me. I signed one for him. Mission accomplished for me.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But I didn't sell any of them. And like I said, I gave a lot of them away. But when I went to do Free Comic Book Day in my town, Vestal here, people were buying them from here, and the voice actor wasn't there. So like, it's really, you got to take into consideration that if it didn't do good there, it might do good someplace else. Just bring it. I'm not saying
Yeah.
bring every piece that you ever thought was going to be good and didn't do good,
Yeah.
but like, if like you've been doing it a while now, so what can be good, but you
Mhm.
also know at certain places what didn't do good. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's so for me, like kind of like we talked a little bit about this last week, and for me, the experience so far has been absolutely negative, but only for the show that I do the piece for.
yeah,
Usually, so like I've done this 3 or 4 times now. Tried to chase after what was happening at the show. The first time I did it, it was Alien, and I didn't do well at that show. That piece didn't do well at all because even though half the the original actors from the original Alien movie were there, didn't sell at all. But now it is actually one of my best selling pieces. Again, sort of same thing happened. I did. Oh, what was the second one? Oh, it was just recent. Oh, I did. I did characters from Expedition 33, and because of the voice actor Jennifer English for Mayel, who was a character in the video game, was there. I did a piece of her. I spent like an entire week on it because it was like trying to figure out how I wanted it. Made it. I even like had symbolisms in it, and like you know because of the game, I added aspects of the game into it a little bit and did some things that I wouldn't normally do with a piece when I'm doing just a pinup. Um, kind of try to tell a story, and I didn't sell a single one that weekend. Um, admittedly, the secondary character that I drew for it because it was kind of quick and it wasn't very hard to draw was SK, and I sold a bunch of him. I've sold a bunch of him, and he's one of my higher grossing game ones. Um, after the show, right? Like after the fact, though, which is funny, right?
right,
Um, it almost seems to me there's this growing trend of shows doing this where they get a bunch of prints themselves, whether they print it off the internet or whatever, or they have the guests have specific things that that people like to get signed, and they print those off and they put them at the show, and people are much more keen to do that because they can wait in line, get those things signed, right? Because it's already at the table. They don't have to go looking for it.
right.
Um, so it's hit or miss. It really is hit or miss. And same thing with recently, and this is what we talked about last week was Sonic and Amy. Now, maybe Sonic and Amy will be my best piece in the future. And if Sonic and Amy ever comes back to the show, hopefully people know, oh, that guy has it. Let me, go get it from him.
Dude, I just want to add into that because you sent one to my son for his birthday.
Yeah.
It's up on his wall now. And at first he's like, "Oh, I didn't ask for a picture." He's 9. He's 9, right?
Yeah.
Then I explained to him who did it
Oh.
and that he's daddy's friend. and now it's above his TV where he could see it all the time.
Yeah.
He did tell me, he goes, he must have a lot of these for when the new movie comes out. A
Oh yeah.
9-year-old is going,
Yeah.
he must market this movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah. It's a good idea. I've already got a piece when the movie comes out, right?
yep.
So I mean, it does eventually work, right? If it's it may not be the bestseller at the show specifically, but it might do something for you down the line as long as you did a good job on it and worked on it.
Yeah.
Brian, you got anything to add, boss?
I find all this fascinating because to me it's such a nebulous thing to try and nail down. Is like the psychology of the average
Buyer.
person walking around at a convention.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from something that might be hot, like, Invincible right now is pretty hot. But say 5 years ago, I mean, I could have been drawing all kind of Invincible stuff and people just would have been like, it's not a
Right.
superhero. But
Right.
you just happen to hit right now and like it's going to be, yeah, I want to see whatever you got. I want to see Battle Beast. I want to see Thrag, whatever you got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. Like, and then like if you did like pinup girls or something, I feel like pinup girls would generally be a very marketable niche kind of thing that people would generally buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, who knows like what's going to catch someone's fancy? I have people come by and like generally because of like my art style, the younger people come in because it looks cartoony. And then especially if they have like their parents with them, they'll catch on to like who the character is because I typically haven't done. I've been kind of brainstorming what more to do.
Yeah.
But typically what I do is the stuff that I loved as a kid, and unless the dad raised them well, the kid won't even really know who the character is. They just see the
Yeah.
character and it's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But then the dad's like, is that Captain Caveman or is that? And it's like, yeah. So we usually that's kind of the stuff that generates conversation there. And
Yeah.
but as far as like the interest, and like I do a lot of Godzilla stuff, and I do it because I love it. But it's hit or miss. Like there'll be like a bunch of people that just kind of walk by and look at it, maybe point at it, and then there'll be other people that come in and like really drawn into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just weird. Like what is going to catch somebody's attention? Like for me, and I always kind of, like Brandon was saying, I'm selfish, and then I always inject my own personality into other people. And so like when I look at stuff, when I'm walking around, I look for stuff like that is really personal to me. And then I have no idea what other people are going to be looking for. But yeah, it's an interesting,
Yeah.
it's an interesting idea.
But I think by saying that though, you've kind of hit the nail exactly on the head, right? Is if you're thinking in that way of like having that emotional connection with something, right?
Yeah.
That's something that you could easily market. But I guess like, figuring out what everyone's emotionally tied to in a way or another is a very difficult thing. But like the Scooby thing, like with my Scooby piece with Scooby and Scream, it hits nostalgia in two places and combines them in a piece. And it's always something that people want to talk about. So figuring that out, and I think like you have history, then it's hopefully the people that you want to buy from you will also have a similar history, right? They'll have like that similar
hit that nostalgic part.
Yeah, that similar, past, that similar thing. Oh, I've seen that. Oh, I remember that. I was 12 years old and I was with my babysitter and she let me watch a horror movie. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because then they're telling you your story, you're telling them their story. So I think that kind of hits it right on the head. Is if you can invoke some sort of emotion to people, in your pieces, then it's gonna sell, right? Now I guess it's gonna be whether or not your piece is what exactly they're looking for, or whether or not they have the money to buy it is a whole nother like logic step of marketing, right?
Yeah.
And selling yourself and selling your art, because it really is. It's a being a salesperson at a show is really its own art form.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not the best salesman by far. I know people that are way better than me at selling stuff at shows and way better at selling themselves and their art and all that stuff. I feel like I'm starting to put my foot in the water a little bit more, but because at this point I've done all these shows. I've done this show 6 times, 7 times. I'm like, why not? Screw it. Let's try this new tactic out. You know what I mean? What's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna scare away a buyer.
Trust me, that's what happens every time I do a repeat show. I bring a new gimmick with me,
Yeah.
but with Brian and how he does Godzilla stuff, I think the best artists that are out there that don't even do comic books or anything, they're just trying this out, are the ones that do.
Steve, speak of
Hey,
the
Steve.
devil. Literally, you are who I was referencing. What's up, Steve? How you doing, boss?
What was that?
Sorry,
Oh,
Brandon.
no, that's cool. Steve's cool too.
Yeah.
If you
What's up with
draw
the Steve?
everything, then you're gonna have everything that people are looking for. I've drawn horror stuff. Drew the grannies from Bluey. Okay, my
Oh,
my
yeah.
wife was like, "You need to draw these." I drew them. I sold almost every one of the ones that I had.
Wow.
And I like Godzilla too, but I know other people like Godzilla. And this is
Yeah.
just based on like I grew up above a video king. I watched every movie that you could probably watch on VHS. So if I remembered all of that and I liked it, I know there's tons of people that like it too.
Yeah.
And the one thing that some people have told me that is like, wow, you got a lot of artwork here, that not fans, just other art buddies that are out there. I'm like, yeah, but I want something for everybody,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
a
I
thing.
think, and this is something that I'm kind of chasing into as well and thinking about going forward is you can have something for everybody, but will they see it?
True.
Right?
That's
Will they
why.
see it? And if they don't see it, how do you know that that's what they're looking for? Unless they're either dressed that way for that character,
Mhm.
or if they have something in relation to that on them. It's very difficult to be like, oh yeah, have but then you have to have that conversation with them and be like, what you doing? What you looking for, and blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, I'm looking for so and so, and then you got to point them to the right place in the book, and
Right.
and hopefully
That's
hopefully it's enough interest for them.
that's what this art form is about.
Yeah.
It's everybody
Steve's,
does comic book. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. Steve says can't stick around. Just saying, hey, have fun tonight, James. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for
Steve.
popping in, bro.
All right.
Have a good night.
Everybody reads comic books or reads manga or watches anime or watches cartoons. Everybody's doing that. And
Yeah.
if you don't ask them what they like, sometimes they won't come right out and say it. So again, the conversation piece is something you always have to have. You're not going to hit everybody that walks by your table. You're not going to, if you have a group of 5 people, you're definitely not going to be able to talk to every single one of them at the same time.
Yeah.
But if you acknowledge them all while they're there, they'll come back later. You have to, the acknowledgement's part of the battle,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Have
True
you
that.
guys ever given away stuff just for people walking by, just to kind of catch somebody's interest? Like, hey, you guys want a free sticker, or I don't know, a free
Yep.
sketch card or something?
Absolutely.
I've done
if
that.
I don't give something away, I'm sick. So,
Oh man, everybody go to Brandon's booth. He's gonna give you something for free.
I will give you something for free if you come there. I got stickers, all of it. My wife is, I call her my good influence because she's like, hey, she'll elbow me. Give that kid that's the Soundwave sticker. Just give it to him. So
Yeah.
she's
She's got the marketing
my
sense.
angel devil on my shoulder.
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to like. That's something I'm trying to like gamify a little bit myself. Is like I do the special edition sketch cards or the collectible cards now,
Yeah.
like this.
Mm-hmm.
these are free, but if you follow me, right?
That's
Now,
what I do too.
I do
Very good.
I do give away stickers and stuff sometimes to kids. Like if their parents come up and chat with me and they see them looking around and their kids are,
Yeah.
not occupied at my table in some way, I'll be like, "Hey, is it okay if I give them a sticker?" That kind of thing. I like to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That
Yeah.
was like my gimmick for Syracuse Collectors Con is that, hey, I'm doing like I had a spinner wheel, right? And I said, hey, if you follow me on Instagram, you get to spin the wheel. If you buy something, you get to spin the wheel. If you uh if you buy anything on the whole anything on the table, whether it be $2 or $25, you get to spin the wheel. Granted, I we wrote on there a free bust sketch, and
Oh
I
yeah,
must have done 15 of them in a row. And I said, this wheel is loaded. I said, erase it, put a lollipop on there. But the ones that I
that's
did
funny.
do, everybody that won one bought something from me, you
Oh, that's a
know?
cool idea.
So, but I also got 130 new followers within that day throughout the whole weekend, just
That's
on
awesome.
Instagram. So, I mean, that was my goal,
Yeah,
you know? So,
that's
because if you're not
that's
feeding,
sick.
you're not getting soft.
Right, right. That's sick. I mean, yeah, that's such a tough one too. In my opinion, is if you give stuff to people for free, that's what they're kind of gonna expect from you going forward. So
Right.
it does make it a little bit difficult to be like, don't get me wrong, I would love to just do stuff for free all the time and give people art and all that other stuff, but you know, it's it is my lifeblood, you know what I mean? I gotta put food on the table for the kids
That's
too,
true. That's
Yeah.
right?
true.
So, you do kinda have to think a little bit in the back of your head. It's just like, if I do this, am I getting people that just want the free thing, or am I getting people that are actually interested in what I'm doing? And I think it's a very difficult fine line to find, but that sounds like, I mean, you hit it on the head, man,
Yeah.
and, like,
It's a
I like
teeter.
that spinner wheel.
Yeah, that was another one of my wife's ideas. It was great because you see them. Everybody does it. There's just like pawn shop guys that are at the
Yeah.
Syracuse one. They do it too.
yeah,
But with what you were saying, James, you giving stuff away for free is a weakness of mine. I'll do it, but I always do it with the caveat of, hey, this is what I'm selling first. I don't give that free thing away until they've already bought something off me, or it's just a little kid that's walking by. I
yeah,
I won't give the one time I did do this was at Saratoga, the first and only year that I've done it so far. A girl was walking by and she mentioned that I didn't have a sound wave. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to draw one right here. I finished it right there within the day. She walked back by. I said, hey, thank you. I want to give you this. So I gave her the original one after I took a picture of it with my iPad, and it became the sound wave I have in my book now.
nice.
But with that, she took that the next day. She had 5 or 6 of her friends coming by buying Transformers artwork from me.
That's awesome.
So
Cool.
if you don't I mean, you have a brain in your head. You know how to read people the way that you can because you put yourself into, would I do that?
Yeah,
Would I buy something from that person because they were nice enough to do this over a suggestion, you
right.
know?
Yeah,
So I mean, if you that's the one thing that prepares you when you do your first year con to your third year con is that you've learned already that conversation that you had that first year to the third year conversation, you have taken it to the blacksmith. You've pounded out that sword enough.
yeah,
So,
for sure, man. Um, let's see. Got some other things I had on the list of things to ask. I'm just trying to figure out what we already kind of talked about here, but what do you got going on now and going forward, boss?
well, which one of us is a boss?
We're all bosses.
Both of
We're
you,
all
both of you.
bosses.
Yeah, let's. We'll lead in with Brandon, then Brian. We'll hear from you, boss.
So, I have had this idea for a comic book for at least 5 years now, and I've shown a couple of people like just characters of what's going on. I've mentioned maybe a little bit of what the story's about. Um, I've had some mixed things about how I should tell people, but I'm always afraid that someone's going to just steal my idea. So I don't, I have to pick and
Yeah.
choose who I'm telling, you know? So I get from my local comic book shop, this Fat Cat. I was talking to the owner there. I was like, I have this idea for this book, but I really don't want to give away what it is until I'm ready to do it. And he's like, no, you want to tell as many people as you can. I'm like, I want people to be interested in it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to give away what it is. I want
Yeah.
to little by
Knew
little
that
do it.
feeling.
So this year I want to try to do it. I mean, I have some weaknesses when it comes to doing my own stuff. I haven't given sequential artwork too big of a shot yet, but
Yeah.
I have an opportunity that me and James spoke about before, and I'm not sure if you're a part of this thing or not, but I'm working on some of that stuff now. But I really want to just like have this put out, and I have like 12 issues worth of story all ready to go for it, and I've
Oh,
never
rock on.
done a Kickstarter, so I may hopefully before the end of the year do this Kickstarter.
Heck yeah,
But
dude.
Cool.
but I'm at that point now, is should I do it myself? Should I ask for help from some people to try to get this to go,
Yeah.
and bring a posse with me to get this done,
Well,
So
here's where
Certainly makes it easier.
yeah, I'm gonna do a little shameless self promo here. Is watch a few of the episodes that we've talked already, and keep watching, man, because I feel like we have a lot of good advice.
Yep.
And we have a lot of things that we're going to talk about on the show that will kind of give you a lot of good information in that exact regards. One of our one episode was called uh "Make It Exist, Make It Good Later," right? So things to think about. Check it out. Check it out. I think we've had some good chats about some good things, and I think we have a lot of breakthrough thoughts in regards to you know doing those types of things and creating work and all that other stuff, and I have lots planned, so keep an eye out, Brian, what do you got going on, boss? So you just finished Private Hide. You finished all your pencils, inks, colors. You're gonna send it out to the printer, or what's your plans?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, I put this much into it.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
really excited to have it printed up, but
Yeah.
right now it's just about pricing it out and seeing what's the best deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that would be the next thing, and then I've got, I definitely want to keep on the story while it's fresh in my mind, and all the things I want to explore into. That's the different story arcs and building out like what it means for like the nitty gritty. Like it's one thing to have like, well, issue 2 is going to be about this, and then issue 3 is kind of going to be about this. But then when you actually get into the weeds, and you got to piece together how that very specific issue works through, and then how do you go from where you are now, starting issue 2, to setting up for issue 3, and then actually having another good solid comic in the guts of that.
Yeah.
So, that's on my mind. I got that sci-fi story that I still really want to do that. I mean, I put a lot of like heat into fleshing out like the idea behind that. It's very daunting. Like just the idea of like what I'm thinking of for the look of it,
Yeah.
for the feel of it, for the atmosphere of it. To me, it's like very intimidating because it's going to be a lot of it's going to be dark and shadowy and very ominous kind of feeling, very very heavy feeling. So that I want to do. And then like the other thing that's kind of on my plate now that I'm really trying to get better at is I'm following James's lead, and like the social media part, I admittedly suck at that kind of stuff. And I'm like, now that I'm on Facebook, I'm trying to branch out into, like just trying to network more through that right now.
Yeah.
Instagram's not bad. I have some people that I've connected with that's pretty good, solid connections, and people that I guess I don't know what you are with them. It's not people I've met, but people that I chat with kind of regularly. They respond when I talk, so it's not like you're friends, but you're kind of something. You're more than just strangers.
Yeah, what do
But
you
like
what do
in
you call that? Yeah,
yeah,
you're like
A
social
liaison,
buddies,
maybe.
social
yeah. I mean,
bros.
I
Yeah,
feel like if I went to a show that they were at, we would probably hang out a little bit, maybe go to
yeah,
dinner or something, and
yeah.
Uh, but like in Facebook is so new. I'm trying to join groups. I'm trying to like when I see people doing stuff. I was typically like very suspicious of things before, but I'm trying to break through that and just take people at their
Don't lose
value.
that. Don't lose that. Still be suspicious.
Yeah.
like
There's
There's
so
still
much of
safety
that.
in there. There's
like if
still
somebody
safety.
says, "Hey, I got a story. I need an artist to do," my first instinct is like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah,
Yep.
But I'm
They
trying to
send you
break through that and go, no, I got to take them at the value, and maybe I can figure that before I get too involved or something. Figure out if they're on the
yeah.
up and up.
Got to take a page out of Armando's book and just be like, "Hey, here's my stuff, bro. Come at me. You want some?
Yeah.
Come at me." I love his mentality and the way he thinks.
But
I
like
wish
some of the
wish
stuff
I
that
could.
I'm trying to get into is like, like this cover thing, just like like not put the stakes too high, but
Yeah,
something that's just going to be fun to do, kind of get me in front. And there's like a lot of indie developers right now that I think you can just kind of make that. Yeah, it's not a huge leap from like me to image or something, but it's just like a next step up. It's like, hey, you guys know people. I need to kind of branch out. So put my
yeah,
artwork in front of them and see what they say. And who knows where those feelers might go. And
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
trying to break out of my shell that way and take on more projects that'll be fun,
Yeah.
challenging, you know,
I'm
some
very
action.
invested in the story of Brian's social media existence.
You know what we should
Very,
do?
very interested in this now
Yeah.
going forward.
We should do a comic book of it.
But that's awesome, and I know I'm happy for you. It sounds like things are going in a direction which is positive, right? And hopefully that the direction that it's going is the direction you want it to go. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but I'm very excited to see Private Hide. I'm very excited because I've again I know I've said this more than once on the show. I'm a I've been a huge fan of your work. I love the way that you do your panels and stuff like that, and just your story was just so impressive to me. So I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing that, dude. And and yeah, as far as the sci-fi thing goes, I really want to make that happen. I think a lot of things are kind of stopping me from making it happen, and right now that's just the workload I have.
Mhm.
So some things I can talk about is the absolute Moppet cover that I've been working on forever, and we've talked about it. I mentioned it a couple times. We have an official pre-launch date, which will be June 1st. So people can get their orders in to this June 1st. We are limiting right now. Right now, we have 100 comics we're printing between Trade and Virgin. Then we're going to be doing some foils potentially soon. That's kind of up to Jerry. Jerry, if you're here, feel free to drop a link or whatever you want, boss. Yes, we're still working out a little bit of the nitty gritties on that. So I've been helping out Jerry with that. We've been talking about that, kind of doing a little bit of strategic planning as far as how we're doing the drop and when we're doing it and all that other stuff, and getting the money exchanged and blah blah blah. And it's been that actually, believe it or not, has been quite a bit of work. And then like designing the logo for Absolute Moppet instead of just having the Moppets on there to make it look cooler, make it look more like Absolute Batman. So I'm really excited about that. And then I have a couple other things that I'm working on. I'm still finishing up the Kickstarter fulfillment for the art book. So that's coming down the line. And Brandon, I know I got some stuff coming for you, boss, and your stuff's been ordered. So
I'm
that's
looking forward
great.
to that commission.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot you got one too. So yeah, your piece is done. So yours is nicked away, and I think I'm gonna start doing fulfillment as stuff comes in. So like, if Joe Schmoes is done, out it goes. Versus like having everything all at once and shipping everything all at once does it makes it nicer because then everybody has like the same drop time, but in the same vein, it's a lot of work to do all that in my little house, in my little apartment room that I'm using for my art room station. So working on that, doing some sketch cards for people like this one. We got Deathstroke, we got Poison Ivy, doing all that stuff, doing marketing, putting together the show. We got a couple of guests coming up. We have next week. We have James Wynn is coming on the show. He's going to talk about Alpha Red and his stuff, and we're going to chat about some things. I don't actually have the topic picked out just yet for that. But then after that, we're going to have I have a big special guest, and I've been kind of hinting at having him on, but he has finally agreed that he'll be on the 26th. Kevin Kovacic. So like getting all that organized and stuff underway. I'm really looking forward to getting it going and doing all that stuff. It's been fun. It's been a lot of busy work, admittedly, but it's been fun, and obviously my day job. We all have our day jobs, which hopefully someday we can get rid of. But for now, we have the day job.
Yeah.
So and then like building out the Patreon here as well, and I have one cover that's out on Kickstarter right now. I forgot to put a link in there. I'll get a link for you guys later. So I have one cover that's out there on Kickstarter. I did Brian's Kickstarter Kickstarter cover for his Kickstarter. And then I have two other projects coming underway as far as one needs pages done and one needs a cover done. So I have those things coming down the line, and then I'm hoping once those are done, I can start the process of putting together our big project, which would be the sci-fi Kickstarter.
Okay.
So you guys have time, and but I am looking forward to knocking that out and getting that done. I'll probably follow up with the writer for my book for the Little Red Riding Hood version soon. And the one for you as well, Brandon. I can't remember what did we agree on for you? Three Little Pigs. Yes, Three Little Pigs. So that'll be interesting to get this kind of underway and get it rocking and rolling. It's a lot of pressure because I don't want to let you guys down. I want to make sure everybody gets paid for what their work. So this is kind of the work I'm doing now is hoping to get some interest in that project down the line, right? So if I can gather enough interest in me and the things that I'm doing, I can start promoting us and the things that we're working on. So yeah, it's a lot of work. We got a lot of things coming on the line, a lot of things coming on the show, and we're really looking forward to it. Guys, have anything else you guys want to talk about before we cut the show? We got about 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes left.
Well, related to what you're saying, I got that guy, Brian. I want to say his last name is Mantle. I think his name's Brian Mantle.
Okay.
He said that he's very interested in being on, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of cool right now. It's like, I don't know if it's always like this, but it seems like there's like this hot spot. Maybe it's just because I'm going more into that area, but it seems like there's a lot of like indie developers, like low-level indie developers that are just trying to get out there, trying to get their book marketed, who are looking for some way to do it. So that's really good for like this.
Yeah.
And people have like, it's, everyone's at a different level in where they are in their network and where they are in their art career. But everyone so far has been like really cool about just being excited about looking for something that, to be on, to talk about, just having that opportunity to talk about their creation. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot for attracting more voices that are creating.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's kind of like the thing that I was mentioning it too is having the little spot on the show that we have like somebody on for 10, 15 minutes. They just want to talk about their Kickstarter.
Yeah.
We add that in, and we kind of talk about it and we promote it, and hopefully, that goes somewhere for us, for them. And, it's almost like having an ad for the show, but
Yep.
we're not necessarily getting paid for it, right? So, you know what I mean? Instead of seeing an ad, you get to see this really cool, hopefully potentially awesome project that someone's working on. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, I'd love to do that. And hey, man, if the show picks up and we get more viewers and more people that want to hang out and chitty chat with us about stuff, then maybe we can do it more than once a week and make it a bigger thing. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a good end goal, I think.
Well, if you ever need a third guy to be on here, I'm always down.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? If yeah, because so Bamps usually our third, um, you know, before our guest, obviously our third co-host. That's the word I'm looking for. Um, yeah, if he's not on, I definitely would love to have you on more often. Definitely, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, in other news, Jerry says that's how I was with James. LOL. Yes, yeah. Jerry is a seller on Whatnot, and he was very interested in what I was working on, and that's how we got together. So, right, like I think putting yourself out there definitely goes a long way. It's like fishing, man. It really is. It's just like fishing. You gotta cast your line once in a while, and maybe you'll get a nibble.
Right.
Hopefully you get you reel in a big fish.
Yeah, and I think we're in a good spot right now in terms of like people hungry for good comics, and it's not necessarily being satisfied by the big titles. Like, I mean, we have
Yeah.
Absolute Batman, which is obviously catching on, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of like the mainstream kind of titles that are just not rocking it. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of indie developers that have really got some solid concepts that they're creating.
Right. I
Yeah.
agree with the whole indie thing, but what got me in the last few months is that how the big battle between like DC and Marvel Comics was always ongoing, and now they are crossing over with each other now. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like an Xbox PlayStation thing now, you know? And
Yeah.
it's taken away from that, but the indie guys know it, and that's why I think they're gonna start doing good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more of that in the future. A lot more of those like crossover things, those crossover events. I mean, Marvel DC is doing their crossover again, and yeah, Image and them are all doing crossover, and like all the Image titles are crossed over with Invincible, which I thought was really neat. And all of that actually, from what I've heard and read and talked and seen, has actually done quite a bit of good for comics as a whole in general. And I think I'm hoping we could see more of that. People are like speculating, like, "Oh, is this the end of the comic market? Should I get out of comics? Should I stop collecting?" And I don't think that's true. I think it's just getting more people interested again
Yeah.
Right.
in these types of things. I mean, we're retelling Batman in a completely differently new, interesting way that's completely separated from its original origins, and that's very interesting to some people.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, the whole Absolute, every series, the Absolute ones are great.
yeah,
Even Flash has like the least following of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's good. I don't know.
yeah,
That's my opinion.
yep. People are really looking forward to all those titles, so I think we're going to see a lot of more of that, and I think it's given rise to a lot more like Image titles are getting a lot more visibility, and you're seeing more of that, and the people that are doing homages of some of these bigger things that are happening are seeing more returns from their books because people are interested in like, oh, I bought this homage, but I read it and it was really cool. So you know what I mean. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a good direction that
Yeah.
that it's going. I guess another thing I'll mention while we're here is I'm going to add this little tidbit of news into the show, and I literally just heard about this yesterday. Is that Kickstarter is going to begin to break down on NSFW content on its platform to
What?
appease Stripe. So Stripe is directly linked with one of the banks that they're like basically blocking NSFW sales, like that you cannot use, whatever this card is. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, and I apologize. But
Fascinating.
so to appease Stripe, Kickstarter is breaking down on NSFW stuff. So anything that is sexually explicit, lewd, lewd acts, blah blah blah, which is interesting. We're going to see a very interesting change in direction, I think, for us indie developers that don't do that kind of stuff. So
Yes, Hyde has a
yeah,
chance.
we're gonna see how that goes, man. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot more of these girls pleasuring their self covers and a lot more of these actually cool titles. I think. Not to say that there's not there's not a validity with the girl covers,
Yeah.
but they're just kind of everywhere. And now with AI and things, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gotten really messy. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what that means. I do think that we're going to end up this is going to end up in a situation where when Patreon just started cutting off people from doing NSFW content, then OnlyFans took up
Oh, yeah.
took up that, right? So
No,
I
yeah.
think we're going to end up seeing another platform that's going to be directly NSFW specific stuff, and people will go there to buy their NSFW stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I think this is going to be an interesting next year as far as Kickstarters go, and maybe Kickstarter ends up not being the platform from comics anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's going to ruin it, but I do have a feeling that Kickstarter is going more in the direction of these multi-billion-dollar Kickstarters that are happening versus these $1 to $2 to $3,000 Kickstarters that are happening for us indie creators.
What's the one that James Nguyen uses? Is it Substack or something like that? Is that like a main comic book kind of thing that he
So
does?
Substack is a newsletter for him.
Newsletter. Okay.
Yeah, Substack is for newsletter. But there are other Kickstarter type platforms. To name them off the top of my head, the only one I can think of right now is Indiegogo.
Yeah.
There is one with comics in the name. I can't remember what the heck it's called though. Maybe that's a good talking point for a future show. It's,
Yeah.
Where do I put my comics?
Yeah, because there's like what is it, like Global Comics or something like that, where people
yeah.
you can just have it there and people
Yep.
can buy it and just read it there, or maybe
Yeah.
they can print it. Maybe, I don't know.
There's a couple of them. And there's one that will allow you to do Kickstarters for your book, and then they'll also allow you to use it as a platform for your book, like a store,
Okay.
which is interesting, which I think is very interesting. And then there's a few others, and actually, it might be a great idea to have K-pop on the show to talk about these projects, because these exact things, because she's seen it all at this point. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a special crossover edition show where we have K-pop on the show. I think
That would be cool. Have Katie on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all awesome ideas. And we had a great time. Brandon, thank you for popping on, boss. Brian, also thank you for co-hosting with me tonight, man. Brandon,
Absolutely.
where would you like to send everybody? Where do you want them to follow you? Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
Twitter, TikTok, blah blah blah. You name it, whatever.
OnlyFans.
Instagram, yeah. Only man's.
Only man. Yeah.
Instagram at Chaos Within Studio. Yeah,
Okay.
if you,
I got
if
that
you're-
one linked. Yep, that one's in the description. So go check them out.
Yeah, it's got my QR code right on it, so that's the
Cool.
right one.
Okay, cool.
And then you can find it right on Facebook, same way.
Okay, rock on. Brian, what about you, my friend?
I have, every time we are not doing the show, I think of like, oh, I should have said this other place they could find me, and now I'm blanking again on what the
Oh
hell it
man.
is. So I'll go through the ones that I remember. So it's like Blue Sky and definitely on Instagram, Facebook. I do have a Patreon. I have Linktree. I have Coffee.
What's up,
I'm
man?
working on. Well, you knew this. I'm working on the Private Hide website just for Private Hide.
Yes.
So
right.
that will be up, at least in some fashion. That'll be up by the end of the week.
Rock on, dude. And we got Michael. He says the mistake I'm making is just now showing up, and my grammar. No worries, dude. We'll have you back on next week if you're free. We know you got stuff going on. So, and as far as me, guys, you can check me out pretty much everywhere. I'm Sketching the Beast. If you would like, go head over to my Patreon page. That's where I'm going to be doing. You'll be getting direct information from me via Patreon, and you're going to get information. You'll also get information about the Absolute Moppets cover drop. You'll also get all sorts of really cool stuff coming forward, and hopefully get to join a really cool community where we all get to kind of hang out and chitty chat about stuff. Future news is at some point we'll be doing a Discord where you guys can all kind of come on, hang out, and chitty chat with each other. I think it'd be really cool since we're gonna have a lot of artists, a lot of writers, and all that sort of stuff come on the show. That it'd be great to have a central location where people can ask questions before the show in case they miss it, and all sorts of stuff. So look forward to that. We're gonna be doing a lot of cool things with the show and having a lot of fun. Oh, Jerry says it also helps you guys find people looking to fund these types of things as well. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That is part of the goal on top of like I said, kind of creating this really cool community, hopefully having a lot of people who are interested in things and having a good time, right? So that's what we're all here for. So, anyways, any last words, guys?
Buy our art.
Yes, buy our art.
Keep creating.
Keep
I don't have a.
creating.
I need to get a crickets. That was a crickets moment. I don't have crickets on my thing. But all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and everybody that popped in. Thank you so much. Bam says I'll be here for the chitty chat. Rock on, man.
Chitty chat.
Yeah. Thank you all for hanging in. Thank you everybody that tuned in to hang out and listen along. And we will see you guys next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out, guys. It's backwards. I'll figure that out next show.
So you didn't play that at the beginning?
I did. Oh, hold on. I didn't actually end the stream.